What happens when a team's carefully calculated trade completely backfires, but somehow still works out perfectly? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories unfolding in the NBA right now, a tale of unexpected consequences, happy accidents, and the Chicago Bulls stumbling into success in the most roundabout way possible. There's a hint of irony here, mixed with genuine excitement, because sometimes the basketball gods smile on you even when your original plan goes sideways. So, buckle up, because this story has more twists than a playoff thriller. Let's rewind to this past offseason. The Bulls' front office sat in their war room, analyzing spreadsheets, watching film, and making what they believed was a smart, calculated decision. They shipped Lonzo Ball to Cleveland in exchange for Isaac Okoro. The logic seemed bulletproof at the time. Josh Giddey was taking over primary ball handling duties, which meant Ball's role would shrink dramatically. Meanwhile, Okoro brought something the Bulls desperately needed: legitimate wing defense, a ball stopper who could slow down the league's elite scorers. On paper, brilliant. In theory, flawless. In reality, well, that's where things get interesting. Fast forward to today, and Okoro has been inconsistent. That's the polite way of putting it. He's had flashes, sure, but he hasn't been the defensive anchor the Bulls envisioned. Meanwhile, over in Cleveland, Lonzo Ball is fitting in like a missing puzzle piece, contributing to what's already a stacked Cavaliers roster. If you're keeping score at home, that sounds like a loss for Chicago, right? Because here's where the story takes its delicious turn. By trading Ball and clearing that roster spot, the Bulls accidentally unleashed something they didn't even realize they had: a deep, talented, and surprisingly effective backcourt committee. Sometimes the best moves are the ones you make by accident, and this might be Exhibit A. Remember the De'Aaron Fox trade back in February? The one that sent shockwaves through the league, with Fox heading to San Antonio and Zach LaVine landing in Sacramento? Everyone focused on those big names, those franchise-altering pieces. But quietly, almost as an afterthought, Trey Jones came to Chicago as part of that deal. Jones wasn't the headline. He wasn't even the sub-headline. He was more like a footnote, and also this guy addition that most analysts barely mentioned. But here's the thing about Jones. He's been a legitimately good NBA player for years. The problem in San Antonio? The Spurs kept adding point guards like they were collecting trading cards. Jones got buried on the depth chart not because he couldn't play, but because there simply weren't enough minutes to go around. In Chicago, though, he's found a home. Last season, after arriving in February, Jones averaged 11.5 points and 4.9 assists across 18 games. Solid numbers, but nothing that made you sit up and take notice. This season, however, he's taken a massive leap forward. We're talking 13 points per game, over 5 assists, and more than 2 steals per contest. He's logging nearly 30 minutes a night as a starter, and he's not just filling space, he's making an impact. Jones brings something invaluable to this Bulls team: steady, reliable point guard play. He doesn't turn the ball over recklessly. He makes the right pass. He defends with intensity. He's not flashy, but he's effective. And in a league obsessed with highlight reels, sometimes the most valuable players are the ones who simply do their job night after night without drama. This is the biggest opportunity of Jones' career, and so far, he's seizing it with both hands. The Bulls didn't plan for him to be this important, but necessity has a funny way of revealing hidden gems. While Jones has been impressive as a starter, Dosunmu has been equally spectacular coming off the bench. Dosunmu, the hometown kid from Chicago who played his college ball at Illinois, has fully embraced his role as the team's sixth man, and the results have been nothing short of outstanding. What's changed for Dosunmu this season? His shooting. He's always been a solid, all-around player, good defender, smart passer, willing worker, but his three-point shot was inconsistent. This year, though, he's shooting the ball better than ever before, and that's opened up his entire game. When defenders have to respect your jumper, everything else becomes easier. Driving lanes open up, passing angles appear. The game slows down. Dosunmu is providing exactly what a good bench unit needs: firepower. When the starters sit and the energy could potentially drop, Dosunmu comes in and maintains the intensity. He keeps the offense flowing. He makes winning plays. And perhaps most importantly, he's accepted his role without complaint. In an era where every player seems to want to start to be the guy, Dosunmu has shown remarkable maturity by understanding that his impact isn't diminished by coming off the bench. It's actually enhanced. The Bulls' bench has been one of their strengths early this season, and Dosunmu is a massive reason why. Again, this wasn't necessarily the plan when they traded Ball, but it's working out beautifully. Beyond Jones and Dosunmu, the Bulls have other backcourt pieces contributing in meaningful ways. Jevon Carter, now in his third season with Chicago, exemplifies what it means to be a professional. He's the definition of a team-first player, someone who might not play every night, but when his number is called, he's ready. Case in point, the Bulls' impressive victory against Denver this week. With both Jones and Kobe White sidelined, Carter stepped into the rotation cold and changed the game. He brought energy, defense, and timely scoring. These are the moments that define role players, and Carter passed the test with flying colors. Having an end-of-bench player who can come in without any warm-up and make an immediate impact is an incredibly valuable asset. It's the kind of depth that wins you games in March and April when injuries pile up and fatigue sets in. Carter might not be in the rotation every night, but knowing he's there, ready, and capable gives the coaching staff flexibility and confidence. This backcourt by committee approach is working for Chicago in ways nobody anticipated. Each player knows their role. Each player accepts their role. And most importantly, each player executes their role when called upon. That's organizational harmony, and it's surprisingly rare in today's NBA. Here's where the story gets deliciously ironic. The Bulls traded Lonzo Ball specifically because they didn't think he'd fit their new system with Giddey running the show. They wanted Okoro's defense. They wanted to reshape their identity, and while Okoro hasn't been the consistent force they hoped for, the trade still worked out, just not for the reasons they intended. By moving Ball, they created opportunities for Jones, Dosunmu, Carter, and others to step up. They discovered depth they didn't know they had. They found chemistry in unexpected places. Would Ball have fit into this backcourt rotation? Probably. He's a talented player. But would these other guys have gotten the same opportunities to shine? Almost certainly not. Sometimes in basketball, as in life, the best outcomes come from plans that don't work out exactly as intended. The Bulls wanted A, they got B. But B turned out to be pretty damn good anyway. That's not failure, that's adaptation. That's evolution. That's finding success through unexpected channels. What this means for Chicago's future. So, where do the Bulls go from here? They're not championship contenders, let's be realistic. But they're also not the disaster many predicted they'd be after trading away Levine and reshaping their roster. They're competitive. They're scrappy. They're discovering their identity game by game. The backcourt committee is a major part of that identity. In an NBA increasingly dominated by star power and isolation basketball, Chicago is finding success through collective effort, through multiple players contributing rather than one superstar carrying the load. It's refreshing, honestly. If the Bulls are going to exceed expectations this season, and early returns suggest they might, it'll be because of this depth, this willingness to experiment, and this ability to adapt when Plan A doesn't work out. They're not stuck in their ways. They're not rigidly adhering to a failing strategy. They're flexible, and in today's NBA, flexibility is a superpower. The experimentation with different backcourt combinations will continue. Some nights, Jones will dominate. Other nights, Dosunmu will be the hero. Carter will have his moments. White will return and add another dimension. This isn't about finding one answer. It's about having multiple answers depending on the question. Let's circle back to where we started, happy accidents. The Bulls didn't intend for things to work out this way. They had a plan, and that plan didn't materialize as expected. But instead of panicking, instead of forcing a square peg into a round hole, they adapted. They discovered hidden strengths. They maximized unexpected opportunities. Isaac Okoro might still find his groove. The season is young, And consistency often comes with time and comfort. But even if he doesn't become the defensive stopper they envisioned, this trade has already paid dividends in ways the front office never anticipated. That's the beauty of basketball. Sometimes the most important impacts are the ones you don't see coming. For Trey Jones, this is a career-defining opportunity. For Dosunmu, it's a chance to prove he belongs in the sixth man of the year conversation. For Jevon Carter, it's validation that professionalism and readiness matter. And for the Bulls organization, it's a reminder that flexibility and adaptation can turn potential mistakes into unexpected victories. The Chicago Bulls' offseason trade of Lonzo Ball for Isaac Okoro was supposed to solve specific problems. It hasn't, at least not in the way they intended, but it's created opportunities, revealed depth, and given this team an identity built on collective contribution rather than individual stardom. That's not what they drew up on a whiteboard, but it's working, and in the NBA, results matter more than intentions. Sometimes the best plans are the ones that fail just right, creating space for something even better to emerge. The Bulls are living proof of that principle right now, and it's one of the most compelling stories in the league. So, what do you think? Are the Bulls onto something special with this backcourt committee? Or is this just early season noise that'll fade as the year goes on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to hear your take on this unexpected development. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Chicago's accidental success story, smash that like button and let's keep this conversation going. The Bulls might not be title contenders, but they're proving that there's more than one way to win in this league, and that's worth celebrating. Until next time, keep watching, keep analyzing, and remember, sometimes the best victories are the ones you never saw coming.